The tensions began when Ethiopia annexed the Ogaden region, roughly here, with a large population of ethnic Somalis. And then in 1935, Italy, led by Mussolini, invaded Ethiopia. Ethiopia fell. Although in 1941, Britain invaded Ethiopia and we conquered it and gave it back to Ethiopia. And in the agreement of the deal after World War II, Italy kept the main part of Somalia, while Ethiopia was able to annex Eritrea. Meanwhile, as 1969 Somalian Ali Abba Sharmark, I pretend I pronounced that correctly, was assassinated in 1996 inside Barare, the leader of the Somali Air Force took power. Meanwhile, in 1974, Haile Selassie's Ethiopian emperor, until he isn't, and is kidnapped by Marxist forces, led by Mengistu, who establishes the Derg, a communist state in Ethiopia. Before I continue, I have to say both these states were communist and were supported by the Soviet Union, but Somalia slowly started leaning more towards the United States. Since when Somalia asked if they can invade Ethiopia, the Soviet Union denied, and Somalia asking to be an ally of the United States, thinking they should get supplies, meaning they can invade easier. So before we get to where Somalia invaded, let's figure out why they invaded. They invaded because they believed a thing called Greater Somalia, where all ethnic Somalis would unite into one country. Somalia, seeing no other choice than invading Ethiopia, and they attacked with complete surprise. And since Somalia had achieved complete surprise, they were able to push around here, and the Soviet Union was now faced with an epiphany. They had to either support Ethiopia or Somalia. And on November 7th, they chose Ethiopia. Along with Cuba, they sent supplies, advisors, and soldiers to aid Ethiopia, which was allowed to halt the Somali advance and even started counter-offensive in the north. At the Battle of Jiga, although Somalia wanted to city, Ethiopia had air supremacy thanks to the help from those two nations, and was able to bomb the supplies to ruins. A tad bit later at the Battle of Harar, Ethiopian and Cuban forces were able to win a decisive victory that forced the Somali retreat. At the Second Battle of Jiga, Ethiopian and Cuban forces were able to win yet another victory, which forced a permanent Somali retreat. And later, on March 23, 1978, the last Somali army left Ethiopia, which led to the end of the Ogaden War. And thanks to this defeat, Barare became a more unpopular by the day, and for a few more years he reigned as dictator, until Somalia broke into complete civil war, which lasted